This is an introduction to some of the features in Excel. And if you're familiar with Word, you'll notice that there's a lot of common features with that program and Excel. And so what I'm going to do to start off is just go through some conventions in Excel. And first thing is the naming convention of the particular cells. And the whole sheet, this is a workbook where we have a number of sheets. And so we have sheets 1, 2, and 3 here. And in sheet 1, what we're going to do is go through some of the cells. And so if I click on this cell which says mark, you'll notice that it is in column. We've broken up here into columns that are lettered. So A through continues on and on with the naming convention. You can see that later on. And the rows are broken up by numbers. So this particular cell is in column C and row 2. So that cell is called C2. Now, if I click down to where Grace's name is, that is in column A, row 7. So that cell is called A7. Now, I can do a number of formatting with this particular document, and let's say I want to change the color of this is title, so broken up into columns, and so what I want to do is I'm going to change the font. So just like in Word, I can make these bold, and I want to change the color to something a little bit darker. So we have a number of tabs. You've got insert, and we'll talk about this later, page layout, formulas, data, and so on, but we're going to work mostly in home for today. And we're going to click on format, and we're going to format the cells. And so what we want to do is change the color, and there's a number of tabs here, and we'll come back to this later on. I can change the font this way. I can also, so I changed it there, and now we're kind of broken out and I can't see some of the information. So I can click on each of these columns and it automatically expands the column to the size we want. I could also change the font up here I can change the font style, the theme, and I can also change the pixel size, so the point size. So they've reduced it down to 14. Also, just like in Word, I can center this. So I can, now everything in my column is centered. I can do the same thing down here. I want to center everything. All the names are centered. Now, going back to, I want to format the cells. So click on Format, Format Cells, and you'll notice that I can do border. I can also do fill, and I can also do it from the main screen. So I can click on that, make the background blue. I could also format the cells, these cells, to be yellow. And there's a number of ways you can do this, but just be familiar with basically how you can use that particular formatting feature. Now, this might be a little bit dark. I can change the font color. So if I want that to be white, might be able to see it a little bit better. I can also here, and you can play around with these, merge and center, and all I did was combine cells A1, B1, and C1 into one cell, so the text here is all in one cell. So this is more like a heading. And I can make that bold, and I can increase the font size. Now, another feature is for formatting is I can adjust the row height. So under format, row height, and I'm going to change that to 25. and you'll notice that the rows become greater in height. I can also change the column width. So if I decide this isn't wide enough, what I can do is click on Format again, and I've got column width, and it's defaulted to 12. So I'm going to change that to 20. And there we go. Now, if I want to move this to somewhere else in my document, all I have to do is cut, and you'll notice that everything is highlighted, and I can just paste. And the problem is the formatting doesn't stay. So I can, if I make a mistake and I didn't like that, I can undo. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create borders. And the borders, I can create borders around everything. I can make some borders darker. So let's say I want this to be more pronounced. I can have a thicker border box. And that's pretty much what you're going to need to know for the first part of your activity.